Hello. Good evening. Can you hear me? I'm not sure.
You're welcome. Yes. Yeah. Just give me a minute, please. 2 minutes. You're
Okay.
welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. How's your day been?
Very well.
How's your day been?
Very well. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Stressful.
Okay.
I won't even lie because we have another event at 7, as you know. Uh, God is helping us.
Yeah. 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 Very good.
Yeah.
Okay. It's 5 o'clock already.
Okay.
So we will just wait for 2, 3 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, I think can we start right away?
Yeah, we can. We can. I'm ready.
Okay. People will join us. We continue. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry about the mix up. Okay. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Family Life Today show. And this is a special for to celebrate the International Day of the Girl Child. And And we have a very, very special guest on the show this afternoon, this evening. Sorry, give me a minute, please. I need to. Okay. So we have a very special guest on the show this evening to join me in celebrating every girl child out there. Okay, so we're looking at the topic, the path to self-discovery, purpose discovery, and fulfillment. And with great joy and excitement, I want to welcome on the show this evening, Ivory Emeka Ogwaga. I hope I did justice to pronouncing the name. I think we're having a network hitch or something. Hello, Ivory. Hello. Hello.
Hello, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Hello.
I'm trying. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. I can hear you. I think it's network. Oh, not at all. Okay, so I was just welcoming you with great excitement. And I was asking if I pronounce the name well. I've done a lot of rehearsal. Join me to welcome Ivory Emeka Ogwaga.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good evening, everybody. It's such an honor to be on the FLT Show today. And I'm very, very glad because it's a special day and a special occasion, celebrating the girl child, something I'm very passionate about. So thank you for having me on the show tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you much more for joining us, for coming to share from your wealth of wisdom. We are really grateful. Thank you very much. Okay, so Ivory here is she's a founder, executive director of Youth Sculptured in Palace Style Foundation. It's a non-profit organization whose vision is to raise young African leaders to make meaningful contributions to the nations of the world. She is also the convener of the Purity Revolution, a movement to restore sexual purity among single and married folks. She holds a BSc degree in industrial chemistry from Imo State University, and she's a fellow of the Young African Leaders Initiative, West Africa. She's trained in civil society management and also an alumnus of the prestigious Lagos Business School with a certificate in nonprofit leadership and management. With a strong passion for human capital development, Ivory also served as a mentor and life coach to teenagers and young women and majors on purpose, discovery, and fulfillment. So you agree with me that she's, loaded for this. And also sex education and leadership management. She is a recipient of the Royalty of the Month award by the She's Royalty Facebook community. And then she's awarded for her contribution to youth development through education and was recently named a top rising social impact transformer at the Fela Durotoye at 50 Boot Camp for social impact transformers. He is happily married and blessed with 2 lovely children. So once again, join me to welcome Ivory onto the show this evening. Thank you once again for coming. We really appreciate it. And so today we are looking at the topic, the path to self-discovery, purpose discovery, and fulfillment. Having the girl child in perspective, and both the male and female will benefit from this on the long run. but this is to celebrate our girl child with the just concluded the celebration of the International Day of the Girl Child. So we'll start with self-discovery. From your own perspective and points of view, you know, this is one tricky aspect that we all, most times, a lot of people get muddled up and confused on growing up, and just, you know, we just go the path we find ourselves, you know, the path our feet takes us on the long run. And you know, a lot of times people are lost. They are not even in touch with their own self. They are not in touch with their authenticity and things like that. What exactly is self-discovery? Are you still on? I can't.
Yes, I am. I can hear you.
Okay. So we would love to see your face as well when you're able to.
Okay.
So what is self-discovery?
Right. Okay.
Self-discovery.
Thank you once again for having me. So I'll just go right to it. Self-discovery, I believe, is as simple as the word self-discovery is. It just simply means finding who you are, discovering yourself. So it entails knowing what you truly like. For example, what you're passionate about, what you don't like. A lot of times people live like, living it to please other people. You cannot say that you have discovered yourself when you're living your life just to please your parents or your friends or to fit into a particular, section of the society. So really, self-discovery in its simplest form means discovering who you are. First of all, am I male or female? For people that are now confused about their gender, we can say in that relation, self-discovery for them means, are you a male or a female? You need to be sure of that though, because now we're having a lot of people that are confused about even who they are in terms of gender. So I'm female. What do I like? I like singing, I like dancing. What don't I like? I don't like injustice, I don't like molestation. I like the color blue, the color pink, the color purple. So I would say in a nutshell, that's what self-discovery is about. Really, your interest too. What am I interested in? Am I interested in music? Am I interested in arts? Am I interested in painting? Am I interested in business? So self-discovery is really just discovering, understanding who you are, your makeup, moving from both your gender to your sexuality, to your likes, to your dislikes. So I'll say that's it in a nutshell.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And it's actually a totality of where you're coming from and where you are and where you're going generally. Yeah. Just to buttress it, there's this quote by Destiny's Odyssey, and it says, discovering who you are today is the first step to being who you will be tomorrow. And Oliver Wendell also says that what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. So a pointer to yeah. Okay. So what does this entail? Self-discovery? Is there a process to it?
Yes, there is, definitely. So I'll use myself as an example. Growing up, right? I'm a girl in the midst of 4 boys. I have 4 big brothers and an elder sister. So growing up, I found out that I like to play with the guys, right? I like to climb trees, I like to play football, I like to do all the guys, right? I was very comfortable being in the circle of girls because all the, I just realized that I prefer to just roll with boys. So over time, I started taking a form, becoming what we call like a tomboy, right? I carried that image of myself until my senior secondary education time, when I realized that I had so much pride in, embracing my femininity. I mean, I was very curvy, very beautiful, very pretty, and it took one encounter with some SS3 students at the time to make me begin to rethink. So for me, one day they called and said, "Why are you, this girl, you're sagging? Why are you sagging? Raise your shirt up." And as I raised my shirt up, they said, "Look at you with your flat tummy. You want to behave like a boy when you want to find, all those things that young teenage girls in SS3 would say to a junior student." They thought they were harassing me, but it was like a wake-up call, to me to embrace my femininity as a woman. So after that, I really thought about it. I said, you know what, Ivory, a girl, you're a very pretty girl, so it's time for you to just, try to make the switch. It wasn't easy because, being a tomboy, it took me a while to move from wearing boots to wearing high heel shoes and all of that. So really, the process of self-discovery, I think it starts with, when you get to the point where in life you really just want your life to begin to make sense, right? So you begin to ask yourself questions, about yourself. Because I believe that before you can even make any impact, before you can make an impression in any other person's life, you really need to know who you are. So it's important for you to really sit down. The process of self-discovery starts with asking yourself some certain questions. So you need to ask yourself those questions. Like I said when I started, a lot of people live life just, living in the shadow of others, living in the shadow of peer pressure. You need to just one day sit down and say, okay, Ivory, come. You're 18 years old today, you're 16 years old today. Who are you? If you're able to answer the question of who you are, what do you like to do? Do you understand? What don't you like to do? It starts with really sitting down to ask yourself some very pertinent questions until you're able to ask yourself those questions and answer them genuinely. Because even in asking yourself questions, you can't lie to yourself now, right? You can lie to other people. When you're really talking to yourself, you know that you can't lie to yourself. So if you're able to answer those questions about yourself genuinely, I would say that you're now on the path to self-discovery. So it starts with just sitting down to ask yourself questions about who you are, what do you really like, what don't you like, what are you passionate about, what are the gifts that you have, where do you want to be in future. So these are where are you coming from. So you're able to identify and answer some of these questions. Thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much. So to every young lady out there, after today's show, you need to call yourself to a personal meeting and if possible, get a paper and pen and write things down. Ask yourself very, very cogent and important questions and answer it. That's the part that leads to self-discovery, that's getting to know yourself better, such that you are able to embrace yourself and then you're comfortable in your skin, in living your life to the fullness, Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much. Yeah. So what role are parents supposed to play in helping their children discover themselves?
Okay. Parents, because this is where we have a problem. But I don't know if this problem still exists. So I know that growing up, we had this problem of parents wanting their children to be, I want my daughter to be a doctor, I want my daughter to be a lawyer. I actually had an experience. A friend of mine, when I was in the transition from secondary school to university, a friend that was very close to me, his dad happened to be a medical doctor and his mom a lawyer. So one day he says to me, Chini, my dad wants me to study medicine, and they actually called the name of the university. The parents had gone ahead to even help him, insisted that he would, apply for medicine. And he told me, I just want to sing, I just want to be a musician. So I don't even know how, and he was in my house that day talking to me. And I told him, why don't you just speak honestly to your parents? I said, I can't. You know how long my dad has been wanting me to be a doctor for? I mean, they are professionals. My mom is a, how do I tell them that their son just wants to go and sing? I mean, and the typical African parents hearing that my son wants to be a musician. Where is the money? The lifestyle, the prestige will be bad. Long story short, after so many years, the young man is now a success or a very upcoming and very promising musician. Wow. But here is the thing. He got into university to study medicine. After 1 year, he couldn't cope with the pressure. They had to pull him out. And then they decided that, okay, we'll put you in another school to study law. At this time, he was just moving wherever his parents, said he should go. So since your dad's career did not work, let's try your mom's own. So he gets into another university and begins to study law. And then when it was a struggle, the parents decided to take him abroad. And that was where they lost the young man, because they now took him abroad to study law, and he gradually changed his course to music, whatever.
Wow.
And his parents didn't know for the first few years of his
saying.
being abroad. They didn't know the young man was studying music. Anyway, my point is, parents need to, parents, I need to speak to you. If a parent here, you need to hear me, because it also happened to me. But my own was not really parental pressure. It was just,
same here.
it was just a case of, I had a role model. My brother was a medical doctor, success, and he had always, for the longest time, been a role model to me. And I thought, it would be nice to just do his part. And then it took me years of, I can't even stand blood. So how would I have been a medical doctor, And now I'm very passionate about what I do. My life has just taken a spin. So parents, you need to understand that every child of yours, God has put them here for a purpose that may not be in line with what you're desiring for them. Your child has a gifting that can naturally gravitate them to a certain career. Right. It wouldn't make sense to carry a child that is very passionate about justice and fairness and tell them to go and study medicine when it's clear that they need to be in the legal practitioner because their natural passion. It wouldn't make sense to carry a child that is naturally a business, because I had a lot of children now that are very interested in money and making money. You now go and insist that we will study one thing. So you need to understand, study your child. What are those gifts that they have?
That's
even down to their personality, their temperament. Your child is introverted. You need to know your child. Study them very well. Every child is not the same. I have 2 children. My 2 children are displaying at a very young age, are displaying opposite characteristics. My daughter is very introverted in her own world, likes to play by herself. My son is the exact opposite. Do you understand? So you need to really take time to look at your child. What do they like? What are their natural giftings? How can you help them harness these giftings? Your child is musically inclined. Can you maybe buy musical equipment for them instead of trying to buy lab coat and put stethoscope around their neck and insist that they will become doctors? So parents, you need to observe your child. Know what their interests are, know what their passion is, identify the gifts they have, identify the interest, because children nowadays, when they converse with you, you can tell. So that you will now know how to direct them. Your role as a parent is direction. You don't need to enforce anything on your child. You only need to guide. You only need to show them the way. You're not the one that will lead them in the way that you want. Show them the way based on what you have observed and identified about them. I don't know if that answers your question.
It does. Thank you very much, because this is one critical point that I like to hammer on at every possible opportunity that I have, and I will continue to hammer on, because I used to think it used to happen in those days, but I still hear a lot of young people in secondary school, in the higher institution, still lamenting about this Africa parent syndrome, that want their children to do go into certain careers or the other, just simply because they feel some careers don't have a future, that they won't make money in some careers, or some careers are just so low and beneath them. And I also realized that some parents are just trying to relive their own lives, things they can't achieve. They want to nobody is stopping you, parents. You can go on and go for it. They want to relive their own lives,
exactly,
their children. So I see this pattern a lot, and it's just a source of concern, because I'm also I had to go through such too. I remember a story my physics teacher in secondary school used to share then. Now, it was always just hammering on it that, a lot of people, he had students actually that had to go to the university. They read what their parents wanted them to read. And after they returned the certificate and said, okay, I've done what you wanted me to do. And then I'm going for what I want.
Exactly.
But a lot feel lost. I'm not saying this, if you're able to understand your child, you can advise them correctly, because it really worked for some people. This kind of parental guidance, and has worked for some, because such parents have been able to understand their child. Do you understand? And they were able to guide them correctly and right. So thank you very much. You nailed it. You nailed it. You nailed it. Thank you very much.
All
Thank
right.
you very much. Because this story is just, I felt it's something that is totally out, but I see it on a daily basis now. I even see people saying, my child must do this, and so parents have boundaries. Your job is to guide, is to assist them with the understanding of who they are. This is where self-discovery comes into play. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You're
So we're
welcome.
going to be looking at some body image.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'd like
Okay.
to, while we were talking, it all just came to my mind. And this illustration that we give that, a frog or a fish is master in the water. When you see how well this fish is swimming inside the water and say, oh, you're a winner in the water, so because of that you can win when I bring you out of the water and tell you to climb tree. You now put a fish and a monkey to climb tree. Of course, we know how to swim there, right? So because your child has, you see a natural gifting and your child is really excelling in that particular, let's say it's even sports, right? And your child is really now say, oh, because you're excelling in sports, that means you excel in further maths, But no, your child is not wired to excel in further maths. That's not the thing. His natural gifting, the one God has put in him or her, rather her, because we're talking of the girl child now, is to be a sports girl. So you now put that pressure, and then they get into further maths class and they are struggling. And you're the one shouting, why are you, does Adana have 2 heads? Does Toby have 10
exactly
heads?
And then they start comparing
their age mates, you're even it's true. And we put them under so much pressure. A lot of children have committed suicide. The suicide rate in India is because of this thing. Every parent wants their child to be an engineer, and they now get into their school, which has a very high standard for graduation, and they can't meet up. The next thing, they are frustrated. The next thing, they have written suicide note. The next thing, you start crying, God, why me? No, God is saying, you, why you? Why did you do that? So we need to recognize these things and just, it's very critical, really. So you don't push your child to some kind of land pressure when they are young, and they start making crazy decisions.
Exactly.
I just needed to point that out.
Yeah. Wow. Yes. Yeah. Thank you very much for the addition. Thank you. Looking at self-image, how does self-discovery help with self-image? I know self-image means a lot to girls out there. So how does discovery, how does it help with body image as well? Your perspective of yourself.
Okay, this is a very critical, because a lot of girls is really just about body image for them. I'm not tall enough, I'm not fine enough, I'm not slim enough, I'm not curvy enough, my teeth is not,
I'm not like
I don't
Barbie.
have that tooth, I don't have, and they just get so absorbed in this body image thing and lose the essence, of their personality. Now, why it's important to discover yourself is so that you can understand that despite how you look, there is more to you than your physical appearance. I'll give an illustration. I don't know how many of us know Nick Jovokic, the man that was born without limbs, hands, and imagine when he came out. Of course, the early years of his life, he probably asked God questions, probably thought about taking his life. But look at him now. Is he money? He's a multi-millionaire. Is it impact? The thousands and millions of lives he's been able to impact. People that have 2 hands and 2 legs have not achieved 1/4 of what that young man has been able to achieve. He has a family now. He has children. Now, let me tell you, if Nick, with that his, appearance, decided to dwell on his appearance, feel pity for himself, think there was nothing good that come out of him, I'm telling you, the world would not even know of his existence. Because he's busy wallowing in himself, getting absorbed in how he's not good enough. But imagine him without legs, without hands. He could attract a beautiful woman. First of all, that white people that have 2 legs and 2 hands and 5 gang, they have not even attracted
at all.
Do you understand? So what I'm trying to say is, the point is, when you discover yourself, it doesn't matter how you look physically. You begin to embrace yourself as beautiful. Nobody can tell, because there is more to you than what your eyes can offer. There is value you can give beyond how you look, you know, and beauty truly is even from within. And it starts with discovery. There's confidence that comes with discovering yourself. Your self-confidence. And you know, self-confidence is something that is very attractive. You can stand before people and talk. Why? Because you have discovered that you have something to offer. And when you're talking additional value, nobody's thinking about your leg that is not
at all.
leg or no,
They're attracted to that thing inside.
Yes, so you're giving some value when you discover yourself, you know, and embrace yourself and begin to invest in yourself. You can give value, and you know, you even be confident, you know, in yourself. So it has a lot to do with, you know, body image, because you take attention from how you. In fact, the truth is that you even begin to think that you're the most beautiful person on earth. And truly, you would be the most beautiful person on earth, because beauty is beyond eyes, fine lips, fine ears. What is beauty when you cannot say what 1 + 1 is, 2 + 2 is? Do you understand? I'm saying that when you discover yourself, your body image will be taken care of, because self-confidence comes with self-discovery. Self-confidence comes with self-discovery. Yeah.
Self-confidence comes with self-discovery. Thank you very much to all the people out there trying to be like Barbie and all that. Discover yourself first. Every other person wants to be like you.
Exactly.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
So
okay, so can you just help us? Okay, I'm listening.
It stops being about the bone straight hair on your head. You know, that's what's waiting for them now. Bone straight, mirror straight, SDD, straight. You wonder why I know, because I'm a girl that likes those things, but I'm not. That are not the things that freak me, right? You see one person wearing bone straight on an empty head. Somebody said, if you cannot pronounce parallelogram, you cannot spell it, don't wear bone straight on your head. The point is, so it's not the bone straight that makes you. It's not the iPhone 11 or 12 or 13 that you're carrying that makes you. You begin to.
Is that inner beauty? That's inner beauty.
So you begin to invest in things that can give you value. Take courses that when you come out to talk, people are listening to you. But after carrying bone straight and you cannot, you know, you can't even speak good English, what's the point? So the beauty is beyond, you know, all these feferities.
Thank you very much. You nailed it. Thank you. Okay, so can you help us link self-discovery and self-love? Is there any relationship?
I think I've answered it somewhat in, you know, in the previous question. When you discover yourself, you begin to embrace yourself. You know who you are. You know your value. You know what you're worth. You know, as I am now, let me tell you a story. Growing up, I'm not very tall. I'm petite actually, and I don't have very straight legs, right? So growing up, because I had native body image, right? My elder sister is taller, very curvy, you know, I just really wanted to, you know, I wished that I was as tall as she was. I'm quite curvy though. I used to, now that I've got 2 children, we're looking for the curve, but did that as it's me. You know, I wish I was taller. I wish my legs were straighter. Let me tell you a story. One day, a friend of mine, we were talking, and he's a guy, and he says, "Oh, I love your legs." And I went quiet. I went quiet for a few seconds. And then I said, don't you ever in your life talk about my legs again. You know why? I didn't believe him.
Oh, wow.
I did not, because all along my brothers used to yab me, see your damn legs, you know, those things. You know, guys are playing football and all that. They say you're not gonna rest. Look at your legs are forming yams, all those things. So I always grew up believing that my legs were yam legs. So when I finally got a compliment on my legs, I thought he was being sarcastic. So I had to tell him, don't, and he was confused, like, why? I said, please, if you want to insult me, just insult me. Don't tell me that you love my. And the young man was very confused. Guess what? Like 2 days after, I was going to school for lectures, and another of my friends, this time a young lady, says, "My God, you have very beautiful legs."
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, what's going on? And this time around, because I knew she wasn't going to be patronizing me, she didn't quite know me. to want to do all of that. I began, and I went to the mirror, and I started seeing that my leg wasn't as bad as I thought it was. And shortly after then, I didn't used to wear skirts because of my legs. You wouldn't catch me dead wearing skirts. I was always wearing trousers and long gowns. So this compliment came on the day I decided to wear something that exposed my legs. So imagine if I discovered that the legs were beautiful long enough, I would have been getting the compliments earlier in life. My point is, after that day, I began to embrace it, and I've heard other compliments since that day. So, yeah, so self-love really comes with, but I'm just giving a peripheral example. What I'm trying to say, whether the legs are fine, they are not fine. Knowing that there is more to you than your physical appearance, gives you confidence to begin to love yourself. Love yourself because of knowing that there is something I can do that nobody else can do. I'm special. When it says, before I found you, I knew you. Everyone knows that dimension. God took his time to create you. You're made in the image of God. So if God's image cannot bug you now, cannot you understand. So knowing these truths about yourself will help you embrace yourself and love yourself better.
Thank you very much. This story is a plus. So please embrace yourself. You are the one that will define yourself. Don't let people define you. Don't let anybody define you. You have to take that power and define yourself from today. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so how about passion and self-discovery in relationship? And then does passion have to be complex or limited to professional interest alone? I'm just trying to two in one. Can interest
that's fine.
like movies and music offer insights as well?
Yeah, sure. Of course, in discovering yourself, one of the things that I mentioned earlier was you also need to know what you're passionate about. For example, I like to sing. I'm actually a worship leader in my church, right? So at a very early age, I discovered that I love to sing. Then I also knew that I could act. So I was acting, as a young girl, and then I could dance. This is the problem with people that are multi-talented, is this confusion circle they have. So
we'll get to that.
I didn't know. Okay, we're going to get to that. So growing up, I had, and then I could draw. I was just very creative. Thinking about it, I wonder why I ever thought medicine. How? Anyway, not say that a doctor cannot passionate about singing, but everything about me really just, I loved, creativity and all of that. So, but I realized that there was something else I was passionate about, beyond the singing, beyond the dancing, beyond the acting, beyond the painting and drawing. I realized that I loved to sit down with people, younger people especially, and talk to them, just get to know, how are you doing? What's up? What's going on? How is school? What's going on in the home front? What's any challenges? I realized that I had a passion to just really sit down and interact with younger people, probably help them, not because I need too much, but I just wanted to be able to give them some sort of help navigating through life, as it were, at the time. So it sort of gave form to, maybe this will now feed into purpose discovery. I think I'm going ahead, but in terms of passion, your passion, yes, can be a pointer. It's important for you to know the things you're passionate about. Again, some people have entered some kind of thing because of peer pressure. My friends are doing it, so I like to do it. My friends are partying and like to be MC. So you somehow just find yourself. No, you need to discover what you're passionate about. Else, you might make the mistake of beginning to live the life of someone else, and you will never get a sense of fulfillment being a counterfeit. Do you understand? So it's important for you to realize what you're passionate. Again, it goes back to asking yourself questions. What are the things that tickle me? What are the things that make me happy?
Drawing board.
Do you understand? Go back to the drawing, ask those questions. Because in answering those questions, you begin to discover yourself and the path that you now need to begin to build on.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So your passion too is a pointer to who is one of the process of discovering yourself. Going back to the drawing board, trying to discover what your passion is also a pointer to who you really are. And so as you discover, you're able to go on self-development routes that best suit whatever you're able to come up with, and all that to be a better version of your raw self. Thank you very much for that. Thank you. So what challenges people and girls face out there is figuring out exactly what they want to do with their lives, which is purpose. So what else discovery in light of all these discussions? I know you've mentioned it at some point or the other, but if you can just help us briefly, just package it. What does purpose discovery, what does it mean?
Okay. Purpose discovery, in the simplest term, is knowing what you have been put on earth to do. God created you and I, and He created every person with a purpose in mind. So for you to discover purpose, or rather, when we say purpose discovery, because I hear people say, I don't know my purpose, and people are like, what is this purpose? It's simply knowing what that God-given vision for your life is. What you have been created on this earth to do. What problem you have been created to solve on this earth. I was recently having a meeting with some of the ladies I mentor, and we're talking about this topic. And I'm a person of faith, so forgive me if I mention some things from the Bible. I'm not apologetic about it. I'm sorry, but I have to. Okay, so, and I was telling them about the story of Moses, how Moses' birth was tied to the heart cry of the children of Israel. When the burden from Egypt was too much on them, Bible says that they began to cry out to God to relieve them, and that was when God said, okay, Uncle Moses, I'm going to give you the burning bush experience, because you're the person I put on this earth to deliver these people out of Egypt. So we can say that Moses' purpose for being born was to deliver the children of Israel out of Egypt. So that now fits back to us. So for you as an individual, there is a heart cry of a group of people that God heard and said, oh yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Go and give birth to Abraham, put her on earth. So until you discover what that God-given vision for your life is, you have not discovered purpose. So purpose discovery simply means discovering why you've been put here on earth.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. But more often than not, it can be intimidating. It looks big. It looks, like something very, very hard. How can one just stumble on purpose? Let me just put it that way. It was an easy route, kind of, to getting in line with your purpose, getting a grip of it. The mere thought of the fact that it's very, very difficult and all that, a lot of times just gets people discouraged, that they just abandon this feat on purpose discovery, purpose fulfillment and stuff like that. So
okay, there's no other way. I'm not even going to try to patronize you. The only way to discover purpose is to go back to the creator. A manufacturer has made a product, right, and has put a manual. Like, we know this analogy very well. You want to know why this item exists, go and see the manual. It has what the objective for the item is, and how to use it, and what problem it's supposed to solve. So common sense tells us, I would say, it's not a very common knowledge, because people know it but they don't apply it. Go back to God. That's the first step. God is the one that created you, not your father and your mother. Yes, your father and your mother can be a guide, because somehow, as a parent, before I gave birth, God spoke to me specifically about my children. So I sort of have an idea of who they are. It's just, I know a bit of it, I don't know too much. So yes, your parents, as long as they know how to hear from God, may be a wonder, but God is the ultimate source of your purpose. There is no purpose outside God. That's the foundation I need to lay. There is no purpose outside. When you talk of purpose fulfillment, you're talking of a God-given vision. We're not talking of your ambition. There are two different things. We're not talking of your vision that you are giving yourself or your passion. We're talking about the one that God has predestined for you to carry out. So the first step is to go back to the Creator. Let me give them, I'm a very practical person. I'll tell you my own story, how I discovered purpose. Yes, like I said, I knew I was very passionate about, today I'm doing a lot of work with young people, pretty much, doing a lot of work, right? One day, I asked myself, I was talking with a friend, a believer, and she went on and on about how, she was praying and God, started showing her things about her future. And while I sat there, I was like, I can't even see beyond today what my life, as in, I don't know what I will wake up to tomorrow. And here is a young girl like me telling me that she has already seen what her future is about. So that day, I went home quietly and I told God, if only you can just show me a picture. I'm not asking for too much. Just show me a tiny glimpse of what my future looks like. At that point, really, I was not, I was trying to make a transition from being, to keeping again, right? So, and I slept. I had a dream. Okay, before then, so I closed my eye after making that prayer, and the only thing I could see was a dark wall. I couldn't see. I was like, if I close, when you close your eye, it's black, right? But this one, I could see like a black wall painted, so I couldn't see beyond the wall. And I opened my eye, like, God, just help me. I just want to see what is beyond this wall. I know that beyond this wall, there is something about my life that is beyond it. And then I slept. And while I slept, I had a dream. And I found myself in a secondary school, and these children were running everywhere, like somebody were under an attack of some form. And then I found a way of escape for them, right? I found a wall, got a ladder, and I was now helping them. But yeah, you climb, So I woke up and I was like, secondary school, young people, what's that? I knew it was a first pointer. Then the second time I dreamt, I saw myself back in my alma mater. And I had come for visiting day. I'm sorry I'm taking a bit of that, but I think this is something that will benefit someone. And I saw myself in my alma mater. I had gone to do visiting day for them, like on a Sunday, normal visiting day. And whilst I was leaving the hostel, one of the students ran to me and said, Miss Ivory, please come back to us. Don't leave us. The things you taught us today, nobody has ever said it to us. I'm in a dream. And as I woke up, I just knew that whatever I'm called to do, I don't know, even all my singing, all my everything, I know that I have a work to do with younger people. Do you understand? And I began to, what I did now practically, I first of all thank God for showing me, but I didn't know how to start, I didn't even know what to say, I didn't know, so, but somehow, the first thing I did was, I tried to talk to someone. So I would say someone that served as a mentor. But at that time, I didn't know what a mentorship relationship was about, But I know I just went and told somebody that was older, okay, this is what I prayed about, this is what now I now saw, and I don't know how to start. And he sat me down and told me, okay, there is a society, it was a fellowship that time, they have this outreach they do to secondary schools. That's how I joined, this fellowship. And at every point, and I began, so I went back and started talking to young people. And then in the place of prayer, God sort of started giving me direction on how to go about it. Even when I didn't know what NGO was. I'm telling you, I was really young when all these things were. I wasn't old as I am now. I didn't even know what NGO was, but I got the name, and we started doing outreach to secondary schools. That time it was outreach, but now it has taken a better form because by virtue of training, exposure, professional training as well, we now have a better. So that I would say that White Sips, that's why White Sips is I won't call it my baby. I try not to call it my baby. It's God's baby. For this is me. This is my life calling. I'm not confused about it. So I dream, I sleep, I wake up. So just to summarize, go back to God. If you want to discover your purpose, it's not outside God. It has to be found in God. Anything you discover outside God is not purpose, it's ambition. It's your vision for life. And ambition is not what God has called you to do. It might be beautiful, but it won't give you the sense of fulfillment that your purpose fulfillment is giving. Then submit under the process of mentorship. Find somebody that is already doing something in line with that thing that God has told you about. Go and learn, go and get trained. Because that's the problem our generation is having now. Everybody wants to run off with their thing. Nobody wants to sit down and learn from the person that is doing it. Who even says you have to start an NGO? Maybe all you need to do is partner with another person that is doing it. But there's a process of training that you must undergo, even after God has shown you, who He has called you to be and what He has called you to do. I almost feel like saying amen.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Nice one, nice one, nice one, nice one. Yeah, you discover your purpose in God. In God. Yeah, that is fundamental and very, very important. That is fundamental and very, very important. And also, God actually deposited some pointers in you.
Yes.
And where this self-discovery comes to play. And I must say that please don't be intimidated, really. It's not the same way for everybody. So you can, whatever it is that you feel that God is leading you to do, maybe from discovering yourself, you feel this is your area of fulfillment and all that, take the baby step, please. And God will keep making it clearer as you proceed. So don't feel intimidated that, oh no, I have to, it's so big and I have to.
Yes, and I always tell people,
Yeah, just make
sorry,
sure
I
you're
always
in.
tell people, right? Because this purpose thing, we've mystified it so much that it now confuses people.
Exactly,
For
exactly,
me, for
exactly.
me, it's as simple as, I tell people purpose is, it moves from the general to the specific. In carrying out, what's God's general purpose for every man's life? God's purpose for our lives is for us to impact the lives of others, reconcile men to Him,
Service.
reach out to the lost. It starts for me. I started with just loving God, just singing in the church, just soul winning. After a while, I started having some pointers. I noticed that there were some things that I was very passionate about. Today, I'm the convener of the Purity Revolution. The Purity Revolution, again, there's purpose born out of pain. Your experiences could be a pointer to your purpose, the things that you have passed through.
Exactly,
There is
exactly.
nothing that happens to us in life that is not without a meaning or without a purpose. So, what are those experiences that you have passed through, that you conquered, that you came out of, those experiences that you thought would swallow you, but somehow you're standing today and you're looking back and you're like, I actually survived that. It could be that now your purpose will be to go and help people in that same situation. Do you understand? I have a friend that is running a very fantastic community for people that have emotional issues. I'll put it that way. She suffered. She's a victim of separation, marriage, and all that, and she went through a lot of emotional wounds. In her process of crying out to God, and asking God to just help her. Now she has gone to that place where she's now able to help people that are going through divorce, separation, relationship issues, a lot of heart issues. She's running a very fantastic, healthy community, helping people get, discover their joy again. Now that they have been divorced, some people think it's the end of. That's actually a pointer. I remember when she started and she reached out to me and said, Ivy, this is the scripture that is coming to, and this is what I feel God is. I said, I believe it is, because the experiences that we go through sometimes also a pointer to the problems that we need to solve. I tell people, there's a popular quote I have: when God turned my mess to a message, I became the messenger. When God turns your mess to a message, there is nobody that will preach that message
Nice
better
one.
than you.
Oh,
There
wow.
is nobody. So don't let those experiences
Wow,
just die.
wow, wow,
Experience.
wow,
That is
wow.
also why no matter what you're going through, you need to find a way to get out of it, because God wants to make a message out of that experience. And God wants to use you as the messenger. So don't wallow in self-pity.
Wow.
I have died. No, that's not God's endpoint. That's the process of your making. It's your making process. So you need to be strong enough as you hold on to God, so that once you come out of that situation, you can go back and confront the devil and say, you almost had me, but no, I'm going to help people. So you see how I'm speaking very passionately, because that's actually
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah,
There's no
yeah,
other purpose.
yeah.
Say you want to discover purpose, find out what are those experiences, what are those things that makes your heart boil. You can't sleep.
Wow.
You can't sleep. You see children on the street, you can't sleep. You see beggars on the road, you can't sleep. I have a friend that is doing a fantastic job with senior citizens, elderly people. She cannot see, and she has an NGO now taking care of them. If you hear her story, you also know.
Wow, wow, wow. Okay.
So I don't. Yeah, so I can move on. Sorry, I can dwell on this thing for hours and I will not be tired.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And this also answers the next question, because some people also, they feel that since their gifting is not tangible, like singing and all that, they don't feel they don't, for those with things that looks intangible, they just feel, maybe they are not gifted, they don't have a purpose. I have someone like that, I don't have any gifts and all that, that kind of a thing. So this also is a clue. Things you've gone through, your pains, your mess, they are pointers to discovering purpose. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So some individuals, they have different talents, and these talents can be multiple, it can be diverse for some individuals. I have observed also that more often than not, people with multiple talents often get confused on how to. Now I said we're going to get to this on how to use their talents to serve purpose, and so it becomes a burden or a challenge for them. And when they do, also at times, they also have the tendency to not be focused, and because they have so many things they can do
Yeah.
very well. So how can people with diverse talents organize better and be focused in achieving purpose? Over to
Okay, so
you.
the first thing I want to say is that in terms of purpose, purpose must have a direct impact on people. Purpose must be people focused. If it's not people focused, right, the end point of every purpose fulfillment is that a life somewhere is being transformed, a
Yeah,
life
service
somewhere
to
is getting
humanity.
better. So
Yeah.
yes, your talents, you have. I was like that. I used to sing, I used to dance, I could do a lot of things. It was quite confusing for me. Today I only dance when praise and worship is going on in church, or when I'm doing my workout in the house. I sing as a worship. I'm not singing professionally. I don't draw anymore. I probably draw when I'm bored, I'm in a lecture and I'm bored. My point is, for you, your talents, in purpose fulfillment, there are gifts God has given. Your talents could be one of the things that would help you to achieve your purpose. They're not the end point of your purpose. So you need to ask or find a way. For me, what I did was I asked God to show me how all these things meet. Where is the meeting point of
We're
all these
aligned.
talents?
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
Now,
Exactly.
I'm not singing, I'm not doing any of those talents professionally now. But you know that one of my visions, and God told me clearly, I'm paying it forward, because you're going to have one of the visions I have is to have a vocational school, right? And one of the academies in that school is for children that have some of these talents. So I'm not the one that will end up being the professor. So if you have, so that's where that my talent now, I have channeled it in terms of purpose fulfillment. I'll create a safe community, a safe space for people that have this talent to develop them and deploy them
Wow.
professionally. I'm
Wow.
not the one that will
Wow.
now be the one dancing there. Do you understand? I'm the shoulder they need to
Yeah.
climb on. For somebody
Yeah.
else, it could also be that you'll be the one that will be dancing professionally. But what I'm trying to say is that if that your professional dancing is not changing the life of somebody, it's not improving the life of somebody, that you're just making the journey. Purpose ends with investing in another life and leaving them better than they were.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you for
Pose
this.
another.
Thank
So
you for
those your
this.
talents are
So
just
it's just that there's a place where all this diverse giftings meet, and that place
meeting point.
of service, exactly, meeting a particular need, and that's where you know which one to focus on, and then that's how you will know the one to put in all your
Invest.
exactly, invest in the now, and then maybe as time goes on, others too may align, may come in with one thing or the other, but there's a purpose for every gifting that you have, and talent and purpose. Thank you,
I
thank you,
also
thank you,
want
thank you,
to
thank you
add,
very much. Okay,
yes, I
okay.
want to add something. Life is in
Okay.
phases. Life is in phases. So at every phase, just know that as long as you're breathing, as long as you're alive, you have to just keep living. So you move, like I said, you move from the general to the specific. Today, purpose is constant, but the platforms can change. Purpose is
Exactly.
constant,
Exactly.
but you can
Purpose is
have several
constant.
platforms for fulfilling it.
Mm,
So today you are in
mm,
paid employment does not mean that you have not stepped into purpose because you're in paid, or maybe the Lord has shown you that you own a big conglomerate or whatever, you do a social good in the future, but now you're in career. It doesn't mean that you have to wait for when you leave your job to go and start. No, the platform for that time is that platform, your career. You can fulfill purpose
mm,
at every stage in your life. That's why it's
mm,
important to discover it,
mm,
because there are some
mm,
platforms you will not have forever and you will account for them.
mm,
God gives you a platform for
mm,
such a time as this. Make sure that you fulfill purpose
mm,
using that platform.
mm,
The platform
mm.
may change tomorrow. At whatever point you are, whatever phase of life you are, whatever platform God has given you, what is constant is that you are investing in the lives of people. You're
Of people.
fulfilling purpose in whatever shape or
Yeah,
form.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So please do not be overwhelmed. Just focus on that impact. Impact. You very
Impact.
much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's been a great time with you on the show this evening. It's been awesome. It's been impacting. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank
In
you.
closing, I'm going to leave us with a quote by George Moore, which says, "A man travels the world over in search of what he needs and returns home to find it." So, to all my beautiful
Mm.
ladies out there, all that you need for greatness, purpose fulfillment is inside of you. Looking at your situations, stop looking at your circumstances. Stop looking up to people to make you great. Stop giving excuses. Greatness lies within you. So look inwards, discover yourself, and start, embrace yourself, like our guest said, and then take a step, one step at a time, the line of purpose fulfillment. Don't be overwhelmed. It's not anything bogus, really. When you're connected with God, God will show up, direct you, and make your path straight. Secondly, is a quote by and it says, "The purpose of life is to discover your gifts, and the meaning of life is to give it away," just like Ivory emphasized on. Giving it away is simply service to humanity, and that's service to God indirectly. So when we serve, when we make impact, we are giving. We're giving back to the society, we're giving to humanity, and we are indirectly giving to God too. And that's purpose fulfillment. So purpose discovery is not an end in itself, but a means to an end, which is living a life of fulfillment. And just before we go, also, my book, Dear Bella, is still up for for grabs. If
Oh,
you're
okay.
your copy, you need to get it. It's for every young girl out there. It's a fearless guide to becoming an extraordinary lady. And some of the things we talked about here this evening has been, tackled and, discussed also in the book. So please try and get your copy. You can always reach out to me on 080-3201-9011. Yeah. Ivy, please, can you leave your contact for people that may want to reach out to you?
Okay. Where do I put that in the
Yeah.
chat box? Okay, I just
Okay,
wanted
okay,
to
yeah, yeah.
close. I had a closing
Okay,
statement actually,
okay.
and I just wanted to reiterate, right, that God has designed every single one of us to excel and be distinguished in the particular field of life that He has given to us to fulfill. All that you need to excel in that field, God has given to you.
Yeah,
You will
it's
become a
inside of
star
us.
in that your field. You want greatness, discover purpose. You want greatness, discover purpose. You want to be I tell people anybody can be an influencer, but it's what the influence you are wielding that is important. If you want to even become an influencer, because that's the trend now, everybody wants to be a social media influencer. Discover that path that God has put you on. You know, the thing is, yes, and that if you discover that path, you know one thing, that path God has put you on, the resources for greatness are in that path. If you're in another path, you will miss the resources for your greatness. You will struggle through life when you don't discover purpose. You'll be running from pillar to post, trying to discover yourself at 40. You will not be able to achieve anything. So it's important for you to discover that path and stay on that path. Consistency is another thing. Consistency. In purpose fulfillment, you must be consistent in the work. You must, and as you're consistent, you gain mastery, you get better and better and better until you become an authority in that field. You want to make money, you want to be rich, discover purpose. In fulfilling purpose, you will get to the point where men will begin to look for you, where men will begin to so much money just to be able to pay to have a session with you, where men will pay for the knowledge. How are you able to do all these things? Do you understand? Show us how. So I want to leave us with that. Discover purpose. Go back to God. And when He shows it to you, don't waste time. You don't have forever to fulfill purpose because we are here today, tomorrow we are no more. Live your life like today is your last day on earth. So we don't have forever to fulfill it. So the earlier you discover it, the better. And once you discover it, begin to run in it, but submit under mentorship. I tell people, please submit under the pressure of men. It will shorten your journey. It will help you to not make mistakes, to remove all those obstacles, because the person you're submitted under has seen the challenges you would face and then has overcome. So it will make your journey shorter. So thank you. And I really pray that God will help everyone that has heard this to discover themselves, discover His vision for their life. And there is grace to fulfill this purpose. And God will release it for everyone that is listening in Jesus' mighty name.
Amen. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And I want a copy of the book.
For sure, I'm getting it across. I'm going to get it across.
Thank you.
Thank you very much
for
coming
where do I
on
put my
show.
details? I don't know. Is it on the chat group?
Okay. Oh, okay. Let me type it.
Okay.
Okay. Let me your maybe can you hear me call it out to save time? So I'll just type it straight away.
So my Facebook name is as is displayed on the screen, Ivory Emeka Oba.
Okay.
Then my Instagram is at Ivory Philip _ double apostrophe.
IG at Ivory
Philip _ I put it in the chat box.
Okay. You typed this out already?
Yes, it's in the chat box. I don't know if you can see it.
Okay. Because I was actually trying to put it up for you here. All right. Okay. At Ivory Philip. What? At Ivory Philip
_
Okay.
Just check the chat box.
Okay then. Okay. It's okay. All right. Thank you everybody for joining us.
Having me.
Thank you much more. Thank you everyone for coming on the show too. You are well appreciated. Have a great weekend and cheers. Thank you. Bye. Can we see your before you leave, Ivory? Can we see your face briefly?
Is it not showing?
It's not showing.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Wait, though. You mean all this while my face was not showing?
All this while, yeah, I mentioned it earlier, so I just felt you wanted to stay this way.
Oh my God. Is it showing now?
No, 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 no,
Oh
not yet.
Lord. This
Okay.
is
We'll,
terrible.
we'll get
Oh,
to. Don't worry. All right. Thank you
oh,
very much, everyone.
oh
Lovely
Lord.
weekend. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.